So let's continue placing materials. We still have a lot more objects to go. So I'm going to go with the structural supports in this video. So for example, these support beams you see here run along the middle of the warehouse, kind of hold the ceiling up from collapsing. I'm going to go with a bump specular shader right there. I'm going to do a search for support beams. And make sure your spelling is good. Okay, so I'm looking for support beam E for this one, which I know for a fact it's not going to be support beam E. It's actually going to be support beam A diffuse, and then apply the bump. And I can see that there's something wrong with the texture, so probably I have to swap the UVs for the support beam's asset. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that search out. I'm going to go over here to support beams, hit swap UVs, hit apply, and there we go, problem solved. Go back to the object, fix the normal map, go to the diffuse texture itself and generate an alpha from grayscale to control that specularity. Alright, pretty good. I'm going to go to these guys over here, these support beam E objects over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to recycle the same material. So I'm going to go to this guy over here that I already placed the material. It's using material support beam E25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this guy here, and I'm going to take that material E25. I'm going to drop it right on top of there because those objects share that material. Same thing with this guy over here, this kind of broken beam that's right here. We're going to take that one and we're going to apply that same support beam E25 material to that. There we go. Okay, so that takes care of that part. Let me check out these beams over here, support beam D. Let me do a search for support beam. Looks like support beam D does have its own texture, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that to a bump specular material. I'm going to apply the diffuse. I'm going to apply the bump map. Fix the bump map. I'm going to take and fix the diffuse as well by generating an alpha from grayscale. Okay, so that takes care of that. These support beams that are up here are going to use the same exact material. Okay. So this one's using material called support beam D. I'm going to take this guy up here, which is using warehouse ceiling C, and I don't think it should be using that material, but let me just check something real quick here. Have a lot of different materials to control here. I do have a warehouse ceiling C material. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to recycle the same material just to save myself resources. Just makes more sense. Let me try that. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to take this object here. With that, I'm just going to go with maybe, let me just try a diffuse. I'm going to look for ceiling D. Here's the diffuse for ceiling D. It's just a diffuse texture. We don't need a normal map or any of that stuff like that. Diffuse will work just fine for that. Okay. Alright, let me now go to, let me see what else I've got here. Looks like I got most of it. I'm going to have to get these corner pieces now. So let me take these corner pieces. That's using support beam B. Let me see if there's a support beam B material. And it looks like there is. So let me go over to a bump specular. And I'm going to apply the support beam B diffuse as well as the bump. Let me fix the bump. And I'm looking at this and it looks like it's using the wrong material actually. Yeah, that definitely looks like it's the wrong material. Yeah, I may have, accidentally labeled the textures wrong or something like that. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is let me take this guy over here. I'm going to see if I can use the material from this guy, support beam D. So I'm going to drop the support beam D material on top of that. And yeah, that gets fixed up real good. So that's the correct material. So I just had a naming issue with the texture there. No big deal. Okay. Now with those structural supports done, let me see, are there any other structural supports I need to do here? I don't think so. I'm going to quickly do these doors over here. So I'm going to take this door that's over here, and I'm going to do a search for just door, and it should pop up. If you want, you can just do door A. This object is called door A. I'm going to go with a bump specular shader, And I'm going to take the door A material, which is door A diffuse, drop it on there, door A bump, fix the bump, go to the diffuse, generate an alpha from grayscale to control the specular. Okay, I'm going to take the door frame there. Now I'm looking for door frame. So looking for door frame B according to the name of the object. So we'll get the door frame B diffuse. I'm going to go with actually a diffuse texture will be just fine here. We're not going to do anything too fancy with that. Alright, that takes care of the door on the top as well. We have these little air vents right here, so let me go ahead and take care of that real quick. For this, I'll just use maybe a diffuse texture. A diffuse shader will work out just fine. So let me do a search for vent. And we're looking for vent A. So here's vent A diffuse. There we go, problem solved. And I believe there's a door on the other side of the level. We'll take care of this one as well. So I'll select the door. Do a search again for door B this time. I'm going to go with a bump specular. And door B diffuse, door B bump, fix the bump, and then we'll generate an alpha from grayscale on the diffuse texture. There we go. There's a door frame here as well, so we'll just do a diffuse for that. Do a search for door frame. Door frame A is the one that we want, so we have door frame A diffuse. There it is. And then we have this little vent on the top, so I'll do a search real quick for vent. And vent B is the one that we want. Here it is. Perfect. So that's vent B. And there we go. So that takes care of those structural supports and all that stuff. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to say I'm finished with that. I'm going to end this video here. In the next one, we're going to just continue adding more materials. As you can see, we're close to being done, but we still have a few materials that we need to add to the scene before we can say that we're finished.